It's been a little over a year since I lost 30 pounds and kept the weight off. Can we just give a round of applause for that? But there were so many habits that held me back for the longest time where I would yo yo diet and my weight would fluctuate. I lose 10 pounds, gain it back. But these 7 habits I'm going to talk about today are what was holding me back for so long. And once I finally broke these habits, that's where I noticed that the weight came off and stayed off. So I'm going to talk about those in this video. Make sure to stay all the way to the end because the last one you would not have expected. And make sure to like this video if you're ready to hit your fitness goals and get your dream body, get to where you want to be at. And if you're new here, my name's Coco. I talk all things fitness, self-development, and wellness. And I'm also a registered nurse, so you might as well subscribe and join the tribe, hang out, grab a snack, kick your feet up. And also comment down below what are your goals and what are one of the bad habits that you have that you just know you need to kick, because I know that we all know one of them. So we're going to get right into it and starting out strong with one of the habits that was keeping me overweight for the longest time was that I was eating way too fast. And when I say eating fast, I was not even giving my food a chance to digest. Before I even fully chewed and swallowed one bite, I was putting more inside of my mouth. So that is something that I realized was really not helping contribute to my fat loss goals because I was eating so fast that I wasn't even realizing whether or not I was full. I wasn't fully enjoying I was eating like this was the last supper. I was eating like you would think I haven't had a meal for days. So that's where I had to realize, what is the rush? Why am I eating so fast? No one's coming to steal this plate away from me. What is the rush? And I need to slow down and actually process my food and actually let it digest. I would see other people. I'm like, why? I was always the first to finish my food amongst all my friends and things like that. And I had to realize that is probably a problem. Why am I eating that fast? And once I finally slowed down, that's when I realized that I was getting full a lot quicker than I even realized. But before, with eating so fast, I didn't even have time to realize whether or not I was getting full. And then I was stuffing myself by the end of the meal. So by the time I finally finished eating, then I felt bloated. I felt horrible. I felt like I ate too much, but I would have realized that if I had just taken the time to just actually slow down and eat a little more mindfully. So that was something that I was definitely doing for the longest time, is just eating way too fast. And a lot of times not realizing, going back for seconds before I even fully let my food digest. So I was just setting myself up for failure because I was eating way more than I realized and not giving myself a fighting chance by slowing down. And the next one was drinking my calories. So I was infamous for going to Starbucks and getting a Starbucks Frappuccino, or going to Dunkin' Donuts and getting their newest matcha drink or their newest salted caramel frappe, or from McDonald's, you name it. I used to be obsessed with caramel frappuccinos. I used to be obsessed with like vanilla bean frappuccinos, just whatever kind of desserty. At this point, it was no longer coffee, it was basically all dessert. So that was something that I had no idea. People ask me how I ate. I'm like, I barely eat. I'm not even really eating that much. But meanwhile, I'm getting like 1,000 calories from my frappe drink that has all of this sugar, all this caramel, all this whipped cream. Actually adding that up, noticing that I was eating so much or consuming so much just from my drinks and not realizing that, let alone having 2 of those a day. And that's not even including actual food. And before, I also used to drink a lot of juice. So again, consuming a lot of calories, just so many different things when it comes to juice. I was drinking Minute Maid, all these different juices, but not realizing how much sugar was in it. And not only just from the calorie intake with those sugary drinks, but those drinks would spike my blood sugar and cause me to be hungry throughout the day. And then just kind of causing this hunger cycle. So with that sugar, then I was like more hungry. It's not truly quenching my thirst. So then I want more juice. And instead of drinking water, I'm going for more juice, getting more calories because I'm trying to quench my thirst, but it's not happening. So that was another habit that I had, with just having to eliminate drinking so many sugary drinks. If I want to get coffee, then maybe getting coffee and not sugar with a dash of coffee. So just really realizing how much sugar I was actually having and how much I was consuming with drinks. Because a lot of times we think like we're thinking about what we're eating and we don't think about the drinks that we're consuming, but those drinks have a lot of calories and account for so much of our calories a lot of the time, and we don't even realize it. So that was another thing that I had to realize, that I was having way too many sugary drinks, and it also just caused me to be hungrier and crave more sugary foods throughout the day. And it just overall was not good for my progress. And the next habit that I had to break was overdoing cardio. So when it came to cardio, I just felt like, okay, the more calories I can burn, the more I can sweat, the longer I can stay here at the gym, the better. If I have to stay on the Stairmaster for 45 minutes, maybe I can then go run later. Maybe I can go do a spin class later, and just really overdoing cardio so much to the degree that then I was hungry all the time because I was doing so much cardio unnecessarily. And then also, I just was not reaching my body goals the way that I was hoping to, because it's like I was losing weight, but I still was not achieving the desired look that I was hoping for with my body goals, with looking more toned. So I, at that point, was not incorporating any strength training. I was just doing excessive cardio. And again, that was just causing me to be hungry. It was causing me to feel stressed, to feel tired. Again, adding to more hunger because like I had no energy. I'm so now I'm eating more than I would have hoped for because I'm trying to replenish all the calories that I've overdone. And a lot on my channel, I talk about the benefits of walking, and that is one of the main forms of cardio that I do now, just because it's a lot less taxing on my body. I'm able to do that at any given time, whether I have a gym or not, or I'm out of town, things like that. Like it's pretty easy to incorporate walking no matter where I am. So that's something that I switched, and I stopped doing like excessive cardio to more low intensity, steady state cardio, as opposed to high intensity interval training cardio. And then also just incorporating more strength training. And that's where I really started to see changes in my body and looking more toned by lifting weights, and not even necessarily going incredibly heavy, but like starting small and then doing progressive overload, where I began to lift heavier. But that is definitely where I started to see more positive changes in my body, because once we have more muscle, then muscle burns fat, and that's where a lot of the changes start to come in. And that's what I was able to see when I incorporated both strength training as well as low intensity, steady state cardio. That's where I found was like the perfect combination, where I'm not overly stressing my body, but I'm also just getting in cardio, and which is good for your heart overall and your health. And then also getting in strength training in order to get more toned and to burn more fat. And the next habit that I had to break was using food as my therapy. If I had a really long, hard day at work, then I'm just like, okay, I'm thinking about this chocolate cake dessert that I'm going to have when I get off later at home. I'm thinking about like this box of pizza I'm going to get from my favorite pizza parlor. Like I'm at this point ready to eat any and everything to forget about how crazy my day at work was, or like if I'm having some issue in my life with a friend or in relationships, thinking like, okay, well, I'm going to go treat myself at a restaurant and try this new dessert, go have a burger and fries, and just use that as my comfort, versus actually maybe getting an actual therapist or sitting with my feelings and trying to work through my problems myself. Using food as my therapy and using that to solve my problems, because ultimately it doesn't. Ultimately, I'd end up feeling even worse after eating it, because it's food that does not make it feels good in the moment, but ultimately does not feel good for my body, doesn't give me energy. It makes me feel groggy and drained. And it just adds to my problems and probably makes me feel even worse. So that was something I had to realize, that I needed to cut out just using food as a comfort and finding actual comfort, whether that's through prayer and things like that, but not using food and seeking food out to be that comfort for me. That was a habit that I had that I really had to break, because there's always going to be stressful days, there's always going to be hard times. And if I'm using food as my comfort for that every time, then that will not keep me on track with my goals. And it will be harder and harder for me to reach my goals, let alone stay on track with my fitness and food goals. And then the next habit that I had to stop was eating and not actually connecting with eating while I was doing it. So, doing things like scrolling on TikTok or scrolling on Instagram while I was eating, or talking to a friend on the phone while I was eating, watching and binge watching a TV show, but also binge eating at the same time. So, I had to realize that when it was time to eat, I had to mindfully eat, fix my meal, and actually pay attention to the food that I was eating versus eating and watching my TV show and not paying attention to the food that I was consuming. Because I always noticed that as soon as if I was talking to my friend on the phone or my family or sister or something, then as soon as I got off the phone, then I'm like, did I eat that chocolate already? And I didn't process that I ate it while I was on the phone because I was just doing it mindlessly and just talking on the phone, or even eating a meal, talking on the phone. Once I get off the phone, I'm like, it doesn't even feel like I actually ate that food. So now I want to go eat again because it didn't register in my mind that I ate because I was doing other things and I wasn't mentally focusing on the food in front of me. So I had to stop being so occupied while I eat and actually just have that mind to body connection. Eat in quiet, eat at a table, not eat while I'm talking on the phone, really deep into the conversation, and then get off the phone and wonder whether I ate or not feel like I ate. And it doesn't, I realize for me, feel as satisfying versus if I focus on my food, I sit down and I eat with no distractions. And once I'm done, that's when I can maybe talk on the phone. So that way I'm not like pairing a fun activity to where I feel like I can't do that activity without eating. So then it just makes me feel like, okay, since I always eat while I watch TV, like I have to get something to eat now. Or I always eat while I'm on the phone with my friend, I have to go get a snack or something now. So, of course, like having a snack, of course, I have healthy snacks here and there, but instead of it being like mindlessly where I feel like I have to do it because I'm on the phone or I have to do it because I'm watching TV, I do it in a much more strategic way where I know it's a planned snack, it's planned meal, so I'm not just doing it frivolously. I'm not just doing it just because, and even when I'm not hungry, like I'm doing it at a time where I'm actually hungry and I'm actually sitting there and I'm actually paying attention to my food and how much I'm eating. And that brings me to the next habit that I had, which was just not preparing my meals. And when I say preparing meals, food prepping ingredients, food prepping vegetables and cutting up the vegetables so that they're just already ready to go. They're ready to just go and put in the pan, cutting up and meal ingredient prepping with fruit. So having fruits already cut up, like strawberries, and having kiwi cut up, pineapples, things like that, so that when I am craving a snack, I have healthy snacks ready, right? Like I have carrots cut up and placed in a tight closed container in the refrigerator so that I can grab those and go at any given time. So I don't feel like, oh, what can I eat? I have no snacks. I have nothing healthy to eat. So I guess I'll just have to order Uber Eats, right? So basically, not setting myself up to where I have no healthy options and I feel like I have to give in to the unhealthy option. So just preparing ahead, like I said, preparing vegetables so that those can, again, I can either just like pop in some cucumbers as a snack or carrots, or it can be like mushrooms or something, or ingredient, or prepping meat where I've already seasoned it. I can just put it in the pot. But having these healthy snacks ready, having healthy vegetables cut up and ready, healthy fruits cut up and ready to go. Because one thing, like if I have this huge watermelon that's not cut, if I'm hungry, am I going to take the time to cut up that watermelon, chop it up, slice it up, versus if it's already ready, then now I have no excuse. Like I have something healthy on hand that I can just grab and eat without thinking about it and without feeling boxed into where I have to order something like Uber Eats. And then the next habit that I had, which I really had to break, was having all my hobbies be surrounded around food. So it's really easy to have hobbies that are just related to food, whether it's like, okay, I want to go try a new restaurant, or I want to go to this food festival, or I want to go to brunch with friends. So that was a habit that I had to break because I was always wanting to meet up with friends and friends always suggesting that we go out to eat, whether it's for lunch or for dinner, which that's great. I do like trying new restaurants. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. But when that is like the only thing that I do when it comes to meeting up with friends and there's no other option, like just going for a walk simply, or meeting up and having a book club, meeting up, going for a run, like trying a new workout class, like something that's actually an activity, painting, or something like that, versus just having it be surrounded around food. I feel like that was just always a setup because, again, it's like, okay, is there any other activity we can do? If we're always making it around food, even if I just already ate, then that's just another way that I am allowing food to kind of dictate everything that I do in life versus having activities that I do outside of eating. And again, just not letting them be trying baking and trying new recipes. I think that's great, but just having hobbies outside of only involving food was a habit that I needed to break because that's all I had before were just hobbies that all were surrounded around food. And anytime I wanted to meet up with friends, it was all in relation to food. So let me know down in the comments which of these habits you can relate to, where you feel like hold you back from your fitness goals. If any of these resonate with you, definitely comment down below, let me know. And also, again, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and let me know what other types of videos you want to see. And thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.